everybody. This is Julie Johnson with XY Communication. The topic today is the result of hundreds of conversations with advisors and managers specific to how we tend to get in our own way when we are trying to grow our business to the next level, whatever that next level may be. And more importantly, the solutions of how to get there. So we are going to focus on what the top 5 pain points are and discuss ways to get past them. There are a great deal of very valuable statistics throughout this presentation. It's about a 30-minute presentation. Stick with me. I promise you it's worth every minute. If you have to pause, don't worry about it. Come back when you can. Just promise me that you listen to the end, because I promise it is worth your time. So here are a few teasers to get our brains warmed up. The statistics and data that I have in this presentation and have everywhere are from Forbes, Cerulli, Harvard, Pew. I have statistics coming out of my ears. If there's ever anything that you want to know, let me know and I'll find out for you if I don't already know the answer. Okay, so question number 1. What is the number 1 reason clients leave their advisors? Hint. Not fees, and it's not performance. Believe it or not, it is purely based on the connection and the communication that they are receiving from their advisor. Does that connection and communication resonate with what they're looking for? Second, did you know that it is more than 70% greater likelihood to receive a client from an existing client? So 70% greater likelihood to receive a client from a referral than it is from cold outreach. So building referrals is critical to organic growth, right? And then the last little fun fact that's very important to note, the likelihood that younger family members may not stay with their existing advisors is greater than 60%. Why? Because most of the existing advisors don't reach out and build those very real and authentic relationships with the younger family members of their existing clients. Therefore, when those inheritances occur, if those younger family members don't have that relationship, don't have that authentic experience, and know that those existing advisors are going to take care of them the way they want to be taken care of, they're gone. Okay, so it is really, really important to make sure that you're finding out what it is they want and how they want to receive it, and then getting it to them. If you're not quite sure what that might be, the generational communication and connection, what they look for from their wealth advisors, is an area of expertise for me. So I would love to help you with that. Who the heck am I to think that I have the right to be spending this time with you, giving you these ideas? I started with Smith Barney in 1996, smiling and dialing. And we built our team from just me to, there were 12 of us. We gathered wonderful clients, built approximately 1.5 billion in assets under management in less than 8 years. And it was through referrals, family members, making sure that our clients are taken care of, et cetera, et cetera. So all of these solutions that we're going to be talking about today and how to go about them. Please know, you may be someone who is perhaps a little newer in the business. You just have you. Please know that what we're going to talk about today is absolutely for you as well. Okay, so stick with us. A big reason why we were able to grow as well as we did and as quickly as we did is we always made sure that we were proactive, not reactive. We had the right people in the right positions. Our marketing person, as an example, knew everybody and everyone knew him. He was trustworthy. He was genuine. He was great. The senior portfolio manager was always up with the asset allocation, what was going on in the markets, how to best serve our clients, growing their wealth, but also protecting their wealth. Obviously, we had an extraordinary team of support people without whom none of this would happen. But again, this may be like, okay, Julie, it's just me. Stick with me. We're going to talk about how to get you to the next level, no matter what level you're at. I was the relationship manager for our team. I was the person that the clients would call, vent, ask questions, talk about their families, talk about their needs. So it was a perfect opportunity for me to always be asking them for referrals. Are you getting taken care of the way you need to be getting taken care of? And if not, what can we improve upon? Who else in your family, your friends, your associates, should we be making sure we're also taking care of, etc. So as you guys know, as well as I do, this trickle down of wealth is going to be occurring unlike we've ever seen it before. So if we're not building those relationships with the total family and making sure that we're giving what the younger generations want to them, that's something we got to work on. That is actually a lot of what I did in 2017, 18, 19. I was very, very blessed to get to speak at the Barron's conferences, both as a wealth advisor, and we were winners of the Barron's Top Wealth Advisors a couple of times. And then more recently, as a consultant and coach and public speaker, they would have me come do keynotes on how to build those relationships with the younger family members, how to always be asking for referrals, how to be building relationships and having those conversations, not salesy, not closing, but conversations, discovery, getting to know your clients better. Obviously, since COVID hit, public speaking circuit went bye-bye. And so since then, I've been building my webinars, my online presence, and teachings. A lot of what I do is outsource practice management, outsource sales training, helping RIAs and teams with all of the different challenges that they're experiencing and cannot necessarily handle on their own because you're already wearing so many different hats. So, with all of that said, what are the top 5 pain points that hundreds of advisors and managers over the last year and a half that I've spoken with have said are the biggest 5 pain points that get in our way? And again, more importantly, how do we fix them? Number 1, asking for referrals. Number 2, asking to meet the younger family members of existing clients. Number 3, client segmentation. It's a biggie and an important one and a tough one. Number 4, having the right technology and website that represents your niche, your brand, highlights who you are, what makes you different from the competition. Having a generic presence just doesn't cut it anymore. We'll talk more about that. And then number 5, realizing and being open to the fact that you probably don't know what you don't know. None of us know everything. And so it's critical and imperative for us to be talking to other advisors. What's working? What's not working? Get curious, right? Be open to new ideas. Be open to new perspectives. And just do everything that you possibly can to not let your ego get in the way. And it's also really important to know the right people to ask. I can help you with that too. Since COVID hit, many of us who were smart and intuitive knew that the day-to-day communications with our clients, prospects, relationships had to change, right? The market may have recently reached all-time highs. That does not mean that everyone is hunky-dory. There are still massive fears going on about family, fear about health, fear about traveling, fear about what is business going to look like. So don't assume ever that you know what's going on for your clients or your prospects. Make sure that you are always asking. Make sure that you are consistently asking them, what are their dreams? What are their realities? What do they want? What are their fears? What keeps them up at night? And why? Not just the what, but the why. What brings that to their brain? And how can you be a solution to help them with that? The depth of a relationship, the depth of any relationship can only be true and authentic and loyal when there is trust. And trust takes time. It can never be manufactured. It must be earned. You have to know the right questions to ask. You have to know when to ask those questions, what questions to ask, which I can help you with, and then also when to communicate, when to contribute your own thoughts, and when to simply be quiet and listen very attentively to get those details that you need. Do everything you can to absorb everything that they're telling you. The details that you need are in the discovery. We'll get into that too. Don't always be selling you. You need to be asking the questions and then listening to them. Okay, it's about them. You may say, Julie, I don't know what questions to ask. Let's talk about it. It's not cookie cutter Q&A. It's very specific to each client, each prospect. It's based on their age, their demographic, their past experiences, etc. It's based on a lot of different things. And it's very important to have a list of discovery questions prepared before your communication with them. Every person is an individual. So sometimes people are like, okay, Julie, you're an authority on the generations, but everyone's an individual. Yes, everyone is an individual. However, these are very statistically significant clues. When you study the generations and when you study genders, they give us very good ideas of what they want, what they're looking for, what's important to them. What do they want to hear from you when you communicate? Those are things that I can help you with. So let's talk. A few solutions to the pain points as well. So first pain point, asking for referrals. It floors me, and I need to probably say that more respectfully. I understand why it is still a concern to potentially ask your clients for referrals. For some, it feels like an imposition. For some, it's like, Julie, if they wanted to give me referrals, they would. Wrong. You need to be sure that you are having those conversations on a regular basis, because they might assume that if you're not asking them, then there's a reason. Maybe you're not taking new clients. Who knows what it might be? But if you've established that strong foundation that makes you know and makes the client know that you are taking fabulous care of them, then the way you go about that discussion, it's all in how you handle it, all in how you navigate it. You want to be making sure that their friends and family and peers are being taken care of as well as you are taking care of them. It's as simple as that. You care about them. It's authentic. It's very real. You want to make sure that their friends and family are being taken care of. It doesn't have to be any more awkward than that. And then we navigate how to get those introductions. Okay. So it's a bit of a paradigm shift. Sometimes we get in our own way because, again, it feels awkward to have those conversations. But if it's very true to you wanting to take care of the client, always first and foremost, it should not feel awkward. Let's talk about it though before you go. If you've not done it very much in the past, let's talk about it, how to navigate it. Because if you're not exactly sure how to navigate it going into the conversation, it could get really awkward. And if you don't even know how to navigate that part, it could actually harm potentially the conversation. So I promise you, when you know how to navigate it, it's easy, it's simple, and trust me, you'll be asking yourself, why have you not done that for so long in the past? Another concern, some people share with me is, Julie, I've had a lot of these clients for a long time and I've never asked them for referrals in the past, or it's been a really long time. Well, especially since COVID hit, there's a couple ways that we can navigate that discomfort. Here's a couple ideas. And again, these have to feel authentic for you. So let's have the conversation, figure out what works for you. But a couple of examples. Number one, after having seen what COVID has done to many clients, family, and friends, it has caused you to make some adjustments in which has enabled you to make more room for new clients. You value this client's relationship greatly. And again, you want to make sure that their family, friends, peers are all in good hands. So how can you get those introductions? Number two example, perhaps you've recently hired a coach, and that coach has enabled you to become more productive, more efficient in how you use your time. And that has enabled you to have more room in your practice. Number three, you've taken the time to segment your book, and that has enabled you to have more time, and you want to bring in more clients like them. What does that mean? What does clients like them mean? Be ready to have that conversation. But then you can say, clients like you, I want to bring in more clients like you. And how do we go about doing that? Okay. Second pain point, asking to meet the younger family members of existing clients, obviously also known as legacy planning. Again, you must start this before you even have this conversation. Do you have that foundation of trust and honesty with the clients? Do they trust you inherently? Do they feel confident that you're taking care of them? If not, you got to backtrack and do the work. Okay. But if they do, then you can say, all right, I want to make sure that your legacy, your succession, your wealth that you've worked so hard to put together is maintained. We're starting to have conversations with your family so that we're able to facilitate that ongoing generational desire. And then also start those conversations of what do the younger family members potentially want to see happen with this legacy. There's a lot of conversations to have that are actually a way to make those relationships even stronger. I will help you navigate that and figure it out. How do we potentially get in our way when we're trying to do this? Probably 7 times out of 10, when advisors meet the family members or discuss meeting the family members, one of the very first questions is, Julie, what is your client minimum? What is your asset minimum? This is not a yes or no question. It must have further discussion, further discovery. Okay, let's figure out what works for your practice, and we'll talk about that. Because it's best to say, especially if it's a larger client or a client that has a potential for future wealth, you want to make sure that you let them know that you will take care of their family, their kids' accounts, regardless of the minimum size. We'll talk about that, okay? Needless to say, you never want to tell a client that you do have the capacity and capabilities to take care of their family if you don't have the time, because the younger family members often do want more mentoring. They want more client engagement. They want to hear how best to plan for the future. There's a lot of things that they're going to ask for from you that maybe the parents and grandparents have not asked for from you before. But if you have the capacity and or the desire to build that capacity, it's a fabulous and very necessary portion of your practice to engage in order to continue to keep that relationship and obviously keep those assets. So the third pain point, client segmentation. I know client segmentation is very challenging for a lot of us because it takes a lot of work. And many of us may think, oh, it's just easier to keep the smaller accounts. But in fact, those smaller accounts are a negative ROI, right? If they're not paying you very much money and they take any of your service time, which let's face it, a lot of the smaller accounts actually take more service time, it's a negative ROI. The old adage, 80% of our revenue comes from 20% of our clients. So we want to find more of those 20%, right? So we have to go through this client segmentation. It doesn't have to be necessarily a big formal, weeks and months and what have you process, but there is a way to define who you want to keep, who you don't. You may want to keep some of the smaller clients if there's potential there for maybe an inheritance, a sale of the business. Maybe they're retiring. There's a number of reasons why you might want to keep them, but otherwise, 9 times out of 10, you can find a younger or newer advisor who is very excited to help you with those smaller clients for a portion of the fee, right? Even if you're independent, there's always a way to find a partner. So, very important to have those conversations. How we might get in our own way as far as client segmentation. Number one, for many of us, the challenge is loyalty. A lot of these smaller clients were some of the first that we brought on, right? So how do we show them, our gratitude when in fact we're going to ditch them? So needless to say, what we want to do is we want to find that younger or newer partner who's going to take care of them with us, and then have a joint conversation, explain and share with the client why we're going through this process, because you want to make sure that they are receiving the service that they deserve, and this other advisor has more time to give to them. And then you start having these ongoing conversations, and then slowly but surely you get out of the conversation, and the newer advisor is the one that always has the conversations. It's not an overnight process. It does take time, but as long as the client knows why it's happening and you get them on board, and if you're not quite sure how to do that, again, let me know. I can help you. Have the joint conversations with the newer advisor. For sure, you always want to get them engaged with you, and have it be, make it so it's just kind of the next step. It's not a big deal. Another challenge that some of us have when segmenting is fear of letting go. We know we have a level of control or, certainty of the assets we have and the clients that we have in our practice right now. So letting go of those could potentially mean a little bit of a shortfall as far as fees for a period of time. But trust me, when you have the opportunity to then go and do business development with your existing clients and ask for more referrals, you'll be so happy that you went through this client segmentation process. I promise you, it is worth it. The fourth pain point in getting our practices to the next level, technology and websites. Yes, for some of us, this is hard. For some, it's very cool. I personally love the content. I love building the experience. I love the one-on-one relationships. But whether it's because of COVID, just because of the younger generations wanting to, there's a statistic that states younger generations, 35 or younger, they want an equal amount of digitized relationship with their wealth advisor as they do in person. Okay, so you've got to have an online presence that speaks to them. Number two, the reason why websites are so important is when you're out there doing business development, or someone has, one of your, there's other people that are asking on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, what have you. Hey, who is your wealth advisor? And one of your clients that loves you wants to recommend you. What are they going to send? A link to your website, right? So if it doesn't speak to them, or if it's just completely and totally generic, they may very well move on. Another assumption some advisors make is, oh, well, I work for, a wirehouse or a larger RIA or what have you. That online presence is enough. Again, if it's generic, it's just not going to work. So I can give you ideas of people who do wonderful websites and are not that expensive. So again, there's a way that I can help you there. But again, technology is important. And especially as you are growing your younger audiences, your younger clientele, that is going to be more and more of an issue going forward. Fifth pain point, realizing and being open to the fact that, as I alluded to in the beginning, we don't know what we don't know. Nobody can. It's very easy for us, especially people who have been in the business for a while, to say, look, thanks, Julie, but I've been there, done that, been successful for decades. I think, I'm doing the right thing. Maybe that was the case before. It's not now. COVID has changed a lot. We are online a lot more. The communication and the connection is different. We can't always take our clients to golf. We can't always fly and, take them out to dinner or what have you. We have to get beyond that. So ask the right people. Maybe put together a tribe of advisors that you really respect and talk about best practices, what's working, what's not working, and become a sponge. Get really curious. And when I say a sponge, I mean soak up as much information as you can, and then wring out what doesn't work for you, wring out what does not work for your clients. But it is absolutely imperative that you stay curious and that you keep up with what's going on, or else you're going to find yourself losing clients. There are, another list of things that is important that we stay very up and coming with is, there's a number of questions. When do we do segmentation? When do we hire somebody? When do we let somebody go? Am I doing client onboarding the best? Am I doing a new employee onboarding the best? So just so many different factors, even getting down to compliance, even getting again to updating our website, potentially bringing on a new partner. There's so many things. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, okay? Talk with people, but be curious and be willing to take and listen to the perspective of other people. Don't ever assume ask. General concepts to live by. And this is my own little sort of, if you will, icing on the cake. To be a leader and to continue to grow in this industry and not just totally flame out. Make sure that you remember no one is perfect, okay? As long as you are doing the best you can for your clients, that is fabulous. That is what they want from you. If you are trying to be a control freak or a perfectionist, you're going to kill yourself, okay? So just let some of those things go. I joke many times, hi, my name is Julie Johnson. I'm a recovering control freak, because I am. I've learned what I can control, which is me, myself, and I, what I say, how I follow through, how I show up. I can't control the rest of it. Also, give more than you take. You will be shocked at that when you start to contribute, when you start to give ideas. Some people might hold things very close to the vest. Those are often people that maybe they're successful, but you would be shocked how much, especially in this growing environment of collaboration and communication, if you are out there talking and communicating and giving ideas and sharing, it will come back to you tenfold. Okay. All right. Almost done. What are the most important takeaways from today? Number one, if you know that what you are doing for your clients is excellent, you are taking the time to determine their needs and how best to support them and always putting them first, you should be very proud to work for them. And hopefully they are very proud to have you as their advisor. With this said, when you know that you're doing everything the best you can, then you would hope that this would create a paradigm shift in your confidence level. You are not impeding upon them by asking for referrals. You are truly wanting to take care of the people that they love. Okay? That's so important when it comes to referrals, so important when it comes to asking for introductions to the other family members. Just switch it. You're taking care of people, you're not bugging them. Okay? When you have the chance to meet these new people, remember, it is not a sales meeting. It's not a closing call. It's a getting to know you meeting or a getting to know you call. Okay? And the details that you need are in the discovery. If you do your prep, you do your homework, the details that you need are in those discovery questions that you've prepared ahead of time. Happy to help you with those discovery questions. What are their hopes? What are their dreams? What keeps them up at night? What's freaking them out? Why? Okay. Those are the conversations you need to have. That also helps you lessen the anxiety of the conversation because, again, it's like meeting a new friend for coffee, right? You are getting to know them. So it has nothing to do with sales or next steps until perhaps the very end of the conversation. And remember, listen to them. There's nothing more engaging when you're meeting a new friend or a new person than somebody who asks great questions and then listens to your responses, right? It's just so authentic and real and wonderful. Again, know what questions to ask. Great discovery experience naturally brings down the walls. It makes everybody involved feel more comfortable, more relaxed and open. And most importantly, it is the first step to building that foundation of trust. Then and only then do you discuss next steps. Then and only then do you discuss potentially becoming a client. How you go about doing this needs to feel authentic to you. Okay. Takeaway number 2. I think I've emphasized above how imperative both client segmentation and your website and technological support are to your ability to grow. You must become leaner and more efficient to enable you to excel to the next level. And last but definitely not least, always be curious, always be asking questions, always be open to new ideas, new ways of doing things more efficiently, new ways to communicate and connect. With clients, prospects, junior partners, other advisors, right? Just listen and figure out what works best for you and your clients. Don't get stuck in the minutia. Don't get stuck in the negativity. Move on, be solutions-based always. And in closing, what does the next level look like? Totally depends on you. What do you want the next level to look like? Okay. It needs to feel right for you, feel right for your team. Don't feel like you must look like somebody else's practice. Do what's best for you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of ways, a lot of people you can talk to, a lot of ideas that you can get by looking at other sources, etc. Never in my 25 plus years of experience in the financial industry have I seen how many options there are out there, whether it comes to platforms, CRMs, trading. I mean, it's just crazy. It can feel very, very daunting. But when you build your niche and you figure out who you want your clients to be, you learn everything there is to know about that niche. And then when you put it out there and you consistently communicate, they will come. The referrals will be wonderful. Okay, I promise you that. I would love to discuss all of this with you in greater detail anytime you wish. Feel free to call me at 303-726-8976, 303-726-8976. You can also text me at that same number and we can schedule some time Until next time, be well. All my best. This is Julie Johnson, CEO of XY Communication, wishing you abundant success.